Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to search through a list box using a while loop. And what we're going to first start by doing is we need to have items to search for in our list box. And what I'm going to do is just directly do it the lazy way and go to items, and I'm going to write a couple of names in here. I'm going to write random names. I'm going to write car, I'm going to write watch, banana, apple, what else? Okay, I ran out of words, so I'll keep those there. We have car, watch, banana, apple, and what we want to do is to search through this list box, and then we want to display if the whatever that we're searching through that we type in our search box, it's found. And if it's not found, we're going to display a message that says it's not found. So I'm going to double click on my button here, and I'm going to begin writing my algorithm. First, what I want to do is type in a variable of type string, and I'm going to call it search word, which is the word that we type in inside our list box, our text box right here, which is text box search.text. I created my search word there, and then once I picked up my search word, what I want to do with the search word is search for it inside my list box right here. But remember, I'm going to be using a while loop for doing this, and this is what's going to make this a bit challenging. So bear with me here. We're going to be following through using indexes. And before we get into the code, I want to let you know that indexes for a list box start at 0. So you should remember it's like an array. If you go to the first item of the list box, which is car, it has an index of 0. If I go right here and I want to try and display that, let's display it using a message box, because this is important to know before you get started. Selected index dot to string. I'm converting this to a string, but first I need to select something. So I'm going to say my list box selected index equals to 0. Okay, I want to show you something important. I'm going to start this, and if I press on my search button right here, you could see that the word car is highlighted, because what happened is the list box indexes start at 0. This is how it stores its items. So it displays 0 right here, which is the list box index for the word car. And if I go to the word watch, this is an index of 1. The word banana has an index of 2, and the word apple has an index of 3. So it works just like an array, if you know what an array is, and that's what you should keep in mind. Car is not stored at an index of 1. You'll be making a big mistake. So that's the challenging part about using a list box to search through using a while loop. And now to begin our search, I'm just going to remove this. We need to select the index to be 0. We want to start at the index of 0, and the kind of search that I'll be doing it's called it's a sequential search. I'm not sure what it is, but I think it is a sequential search. What happens with sequential search is I move through the items one by one. So I'm going to move through the item car and check it, and I'm going to go to watch and check it, and I'm going to go to banana and check that one as well, and go to apple. So I'm gonna be moving through the list box sequentially, in other words. Then what I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to first write my while loop, and I'm gonna say the search word not equals to the item which is on the selected item. So firstly, I showed you that the selected item was car, which was at index 0, and by saying that my index right here is 0, in other words, this item is equals to car. So this is the first item that I'm selecting. So I'm gonna say ListBox dot selected item dot toString. So what I'm doing right here is I'm saying that my while loop, whatever that's in here, is gonna continue to run up until whatever the word that I search for is not equal to the word that's in the list box. Okay, let me break that down to you because it might be a mouthful. Okay, I'm gonna search a word in here, and I'm gonna be using a while loop. I'm gonna write my word in here. I'm gonna be using a while loop to search through this. My while loop will continue to run unless I find the word. So once I find the word, which is basically what I'm saying here, once I find the word, then I'm going to break out of this while loop right here. So it's gonna follow the second statement right here, number 2. And what we're gonna do once we break out of the while loop, we want to know if the word we've been searching for is the correct one. Is it the word that we've been looking for? Okay, so what I'm gonna do is use indexes for that. So what I'm gonna do right now is create a new variable of string, and I'm gonna call it index. My index, I'm gonna start it at 0. Remember that lists start at indexes of 0. So I'm gonna go and say my mistake, I was supposed to say integer. So what I'm gonna do is increase my index as long as I have not found the word that I'm looking for. So if I type in the word banana in here, okay, and what my loop's gonna do is gonna go to the word car, and it's gonna say, is banana equal to car? And the answer is gonna be no. And then what it's gonna do is going to increase my index. Once it increases my index, what I want to do is I want my list box to go and select the word watch. And once it gets to the word watch, it's gonna say, is banana equal to watch? And the answer is gonna be no. So what I'm gonna do right now is go down here and say that my list box names dot selected index equals to my index. Okay, and then what's gonna happen again is it's gonna go to the word banana. Then when it gets to the word banana, it's going to say, is banana equal to the word banana? Which is obviously yes. And then what's gonna happen is I'm going to simply break out of this loop. Okay, and then there is a problem though that we're gonna face, and that is if I type in a word in here that's random. Let's say I type in the word strawberry inside my search box right here. The word strawberry doesn't exist in here. Okay, and what's gonna happen is my list box is gonna continue searching for that. My while loop is gonna continue searching for a word that doesn't exist inside the list box, and we do not want that to happen. So what's gonna happen is we're gonna have an endless loop, an infinite loop, because we can't find whatever that's in here, and that's going to crash our program. We don't want that to happen. So basically what I'm gonna do is to tell C# that if I go through the whole list and I haven't found what I'm looking for, I'm going to end the whole loop. Okay, so I'm gonna go right here and say if the number of items inside my list box exceeds my index. Okay, so I'm gonna simply say my index is less than I want to keep my index less than the number of items in here. So if my index is less than the label, the list box, I want items, the number of items. This thing is not responding to me. Items dot count. Okay, here we go. Put this in there. So what I'm doing right now is saying that I'm going to only set my selected index to equal to my index only if let me go this side. I'm only going to select an item in the list box only if the index doesn't exist the number of items that exist in here. So for example, if I go and select the word car, which is at index 0, and the count for my list box is 4 currently because I have 4 items. And I go and select the word car. So that means that my index is 1 and my item count will always remain constant. Not always. If I increase the number of items, it's gonna change. But for now, let's just say it's 4. Okay. And my index is at 1. Okay. What's gonna happen is this statement is gonna be, the computer is gonna allow it to run. I'm going to run this statement down here. Okay. And then if I move to the second item, number 2, if my index is number 2, which is banana, it will still run. And then if my index is number 3, which is apple, it will still run. But if it gets to 4, this won't happen. And what this if statement does is it prevents us from going to from setting the label's index to number 4, which does not exist right here, because remember we have index of 0, 1, 2 and 3. So this will only happen if the index is less than the number of items. Okay, so that's the first error that we prevented. Now we want to also prevent another error that's bound to happen. Okay, and that is let's say we have only one item inside our list box. What that causes for us is that if we only have one item, okay, let's not say one item, let's say we have no item inside our list box. If we don't have any item inside our list box, we don't want to waste our computing power by searching through the whole thing and not finding anything. So what I'm basically gonna do is to say that I'm only going to run this algorithm right here only if the items inside my list box are greater than 0, which means that there are items inside my list box. And then I want to drag that in here. Okay, once we got that down, we want to know at the end if the item we're looking for is found. So I'm going to write an if statement down here. I'm going to say if the item I was searching for, okay, let's say search word, not copy that, search word. Okay, the word that I'm searching for is equal to my list box names dot selected item. I'm gonna set this to a string. Okay, what I'm saying again right here is if my search word, the word that I'm searching for, is equal to the selected item, because remember that as long as I'm increasing my index, my selected item is gonna change. And once it changes, once my while loop ends, the list box is going to stop there. So let's go again this side so I can show you practically. Let me run this so I can show you how this works. Once I press my search button and my while loop starts working, it's going to go and select the first item and compare it with what's in here. I'm gonna go and select the second item and compare it. I'm gonna go and select this item and compare it. Okay, and let's say it compares the word banana, and I also have the word banana in here. Once it gets here, my while loop is gonna end. Okay, and once it ends, what I want to do is I want to know the index of the word banana. So the index of word banana right here is 0 1 2, so it's at 2. So my while loop is going to end there because it found the word that I was looking for, which is the word banana. So this is how it's going to work. Okay, so I want to display message box that show. I simply want to display my index. I'm going to convert that to a string. Okay, now let's run this and see how it works. I'm going to type in the word watch, and the word watch here is at index number 1, index number 1, because it's 0 1. So if I press search, it's gonna say 1. This is the index. If I search for the word apple, apple is at index number 3. Remember, 0 1 2 3. Okay, so our search loop is working. If we don't type anything in here and run this, you could see that nothing's happening and our program just broke. And what you want to do is to like only run this thing if we have a search word. So we must have search word. I'm gonna say string dot our search word is not null or empty. So we don't want our search word to be null or empty. Okay, so just for validation. So now what happens if we do not find the word we're looking for? If we don't find the word that we're looking for, remember that our while loop is going to continue running. Okay, but this is not going to get triggered because our index is going to exceed the current count. Okay, what I'm going to do is say if our index exceeds the number of items inside our list box, I want to break out of this loop. So I'm going to simply say break. So once I break out of this loop, it means that I'm going to come down here outside the loop. Okay, once I come outside the loop, I'm going to run this statement right here. So if I save this and start that and search for a word, let me type in my name right here and type in search. Okay, what's gonna happen is nothing's gonna happen. What happened right here was the list box went through all the items and it ended up at Apple, and it did not find the word that it was searching for. So I also want to display a message. Message box that show not found. Okay, so if I press start, type in my name here, which doesn't exist, it's gonna say not found. It did not find my name. But if I search for the word banana and press search, banana is at index number 2. It found banana, which is great. And I believe that's it, because even if I increase the number of items inside my list box right here, let me go and increase the number of items and say blue, yellow, red, cat. That's not how we write cat, but that'll do. Orange, and say okay and press start, and let's search for the word red. So it found the word red, which is at index number 6. So it means that this works even if I type in a word that doesn't exist and press search. It's gonna say not found. And remember, what we also did was, if you don't type in anything and press search, nothing's gonna happen. But it also said not found. So that's it. That's how you use a while loop to search through a list box. And I hope this video was helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Impoti.